Hello out there in computer land. Welcome to Comics in Captivity. I'm Bruce Smirnoff, your host. Tonight, we have the great Craig Shoemaker. But before we begin, you see that picture, the headshot of me? Craig still looks great. And Craig's a very handsome guy. But the photo of me, as the show started, that was taken in 2003, when I first moved to Florida. And obviously, no need to make a new one. I look 112 now. Anyway, welcome to the show. We have the great Craig Shoemaker on tonight. Love Master. Many of you know him as that. He's got so many credits. He's just Craig Shoemaker to me, like he's my buddy. But I wanted to read his bio so you get a better idea. Craig is a modern day Renaissance man. He was named Comedian of the Year. He won the American Comedy Award in 1997. And just to put that in perspective, here's some of the people that have won it prior and after him. Robin Williams, Lily Tomlin, Jeff Foxworthy, Roseanne Barr, Jeff Dunham and Peanut, Richard Jeni, Ellen DeGeneres, George Wallace, and Rita Rudner, just to name a few. To me, again, just like my buddy, but he was a reoccurring character. I didn't watch, what was this show? Parks and Recreation. I knew it was a big hit. No time for that. He played the recurring character Wilson Gromling, the head of the Pawnees Liberty or Die Party. And girls, he had a reoccurring role on The Bold and the Beautiful. They ain't putting me on The Bold and the Beautiful. Craig has produced a lot of stuff. And he's also the woman that just got arrested. What was that? Full House? So he was, what was he called? He's a writer. He's on the writing staff of Fuller House. So good for him. Let's welcome him on. Say hello to the Love Master, Craig Shoemaker, all the way from LA. Hi, babe.
Yeah, if anybody knows you, you're the most insecure man on the planet. Everything that he's reading, he is absolutely in the back of his mind. He goes, I think he stinks. He stinks. He gets up on stage and talks about his cock for an hour, and people drool over him. I swear, I don't get it, but I need people to watch my thing, so I put him on.
I got to be honest with you. You know, reading I remember the American Comedy Awards. George Slaughter produced them. I was at the year you won, and it was great. It was a great scene anyway. All the freebies you got, all the
oh yeah, you know, all it did for me is heighten the resentment of other comedians. That's the only thing that it did. I thought nobody's ever stopped me in the airport and said, "Are you the comedian of your American Comedy Awards?" Never, but they have stopped me to say, "Hack." yeah. Next year's gonna be Peanut and the ventriloquist, and it was. Oh yeah, you're just a target for a year. That's all it is. Comedians don't want the other ones to succeed, especially you. When I first moved to Los Angeles, you would call me up. He would literally call me up and go, "How you doing, babe? It's your new buddy, Bruce. Let me tell you something. Listen, I'm going to tell you why I'm calling you, because I can tell you're going to be a big star.
Yes,
and you're going to have your own sitcom, and I'm going to be the annoying neighbor." And that's why I'm kissing your ass. Personally, I think you stink. Your act is absolute dreck. And you would tell me that, and yet we still remain friends, even though you have zero respect for me.
Zero. But I love you because I can talk to you like a real comedian, one-on-one.
Yeah.
I want to.
By the way, this probably is one-on-one because you have no ratings. Nobody watching. It's just you and me. We prep for this thing. It's by the way, folks, the most annoying thing I've done Tonight Show, Late Show, all these shows. No one has prepared more with annoyances than this guy. He goes, "Can you do me a favor? You got to do 3 tests. You have to do 3. We don't do Zoom. We do this fakakta thing, and you got to sign up on there." And then you have to promote. Make sure you promote 9 times a day, because you're going to get paid, and you're going to get paid absolutely nothing, and no one's going to watch. You'll get zero fans from this. I might as well be hanging with you in your yard with all your 19 children.
Is it 19? I thought it was only 18. All right, listen, wait. So
Okay, go ahead.
We can go back. This is amazing.
All right, so
no, stop. I want to talk this is why I was up your ass when we first met, because you came to town, never heard of you, and I got introduced to you by Rick Brown. And remember, I was throwing those singles parties at the time, and I said, "Nice to meet you. Why don't you come to one of my singles parties?" This one was in Century City.
Oh, and he would have singles parties.
Let me finish.
People have to know, though, he has no sincerity whatsoever in his bones. Anything he's ever given away, he knows he's going to get something. There's always got to be something to do with getting some poontang at the end of it.
Oh,
so he would pretend
nice to say about me.
He would pretend that he was raising. He would say, I'm having a party.
But wait a minute, you're going to give it away. Let me tell my side, okay?
Say, all right, I'm saying one more thing. Bring a can of anything you have, and that is entrance. That's your entrance. All you have to do is have a can, and we've got lots of hot girls. Lots of hot girls will be there bringing a can. All they need is a can. You can go in the back of your cupboard. I don't care if it's Dinty Moore stew. All you got to do is walk in with that, and that's entrance. There's no cover. I got it all, babe, and I got the babes.
Oh, I forgot about that with the can of food for the homeless.
You had to bring a can of food. That was your entrance. Yeah. Okay. So I went in there thinking I'm going to meet all these women, and he had them all lined up.
But you got to stop. Let me tell my side. All right. So Craig comes to my party, and everyone dresses in a sport coat. They dress really nice because these guys are all desperate. They want to get laid, and they're trying to look their best. He walks in. He's wearing like the Columbine, those two kids.
This was pre-Columbine, though. It was
black. It was pre-Columbine, but I'm just trying to give an idea to the customers listening of what you were dressed like. A black trench coat. Everybody else in Ralph Lauren jeans, beautiful outfit. He comes in with a trench coat. Anyway, he's mingling around, and the party's a huge success. We got lots of food for the homeless.
By the way, folks, it's still in his cupboard. I guarantee you.
I'll show it to you if you want to see it.
Moved to Florida with those same cans. If you look at the cans, they're from 1991. It's Century City.
Come on. So the next day, I make sure I'm home because I know I'm going to get all the phone call, and I start going, "Thank you. The party was great. And now these women start calling me, and they go, "Hi, it's Arlene. Your party was very nice last night. Just quick question. Yeah. There was someone there in a long black." Yeah, that's Craig Shoemaker, new comic in town. "Oh, would you happen to be able to just tell him or give him my number?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." 5 minutes later, phone rang. "Hello. Hi, Bruce. It's Mindy. Hey, Mindy, what's up?" He goes, I had such a good time, and we raised so much food for the homeless last night. Just a question: black coat, trench coat? Yes. Who was that? That's Craig Shoemaker. He's a comedian. Oh, I already. I'll send him your phone number.
Let me get back to you because I want to tell people who they're watching here. Let's go to an insincere story again. Speaking of Arlene, Bruce always has to have. He has to be in on every conversation. He's a know-it-all. He has to know everything. I remember we ran into this big star from the Newhart show. Her name's Mary Fran. We run into her on the street, and she literally has a sitcom that she's a star of. But he has to hone his way into the conversation. So I'm talking to her, and I know who she is. He has no idea. He goes, "Oh, see, you're an actress. That's very nice." And she said, "I just hosted the home show." "The home show, that's great. You can sell watches and bracelets."
That's right.
And you might, and by the way, some big producer might be watching. They might cast you in a show. And she's staring at him, starring in the Newhart show. And he just finally just goes, "I'm not saying the right thing right now, am I?"
I had no idea. She was like, third lead on the Newhart show, but I don't watch television.
She was his wife on the show, but she did a guest thing, and you're trying to tell her that she's on the Home Shopping Network.
I thought she was on the Home Shopping Network.
You thought she was hawking wares and you say, "By the way, if you have your own bracelet line, that could happen for you if you become a big star."
Yeah.
And you have so you're the manager of everybody and know everything what they should do. So you want to get in on every conversation. So Arlene, we're having a 3-way conversation, and she's just, she knows me. I'm a very compassionate guy with empathy, and Bruce has none. So anyway, so we're on the phone, and she goes, "Oh, he broke up with me, and and I just, we just didn't really talk it out." And I'm going, "Oh, Arlene, I know what you feel."
She broke up with her boyfriend. Yeah,
broke up with the boyfriend, and he goes, and then he comes in with, "I know exactly how you feel." And I'm going, where's this going? A guy that's never dated anyone for any length of time. And she's had dated him for a while. One time I dated this girl, and she told me, I know what you mean about closure. She told me that her tits squirted milk. And then she didn't let me. She broke up with me, and I realized I never.
We're losing you there. You there? All right, you're freezing up on me. Hold on. I want. Hello, are you there? Anyway, technical issue. Hold on.
Have or something?
Okay, we missed you about 15 seconds.
I have full bars here.
That's okay. It just happens. It's one of those things. It's not a big deal. But anyhow, that's how we started our friendship. And let's talk a little bit about you. Can you hear me now? Are we on? You there? You are not there. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna talk about you until we get you back on. You were born, I think, in Flowertown. I don't know where that is, but it's a section of Philadelphia. And you were a very small kid. You're one of the weirdest freaks because you're 6'2", and I'm 6'3", and you're a big bone guy. You've got one of the biggest heads I've ever seen in show business, and yet I believe you did all your growing. I'm just going to tell you this, and then when he comes on, he can verify it. He did all his growing when he was, I think, 17 years old. That does happen. There's a couple of professional athletes that were that way, but that's pretty amazing. And he comes from a real Meshuggah family. And I met his mother once, but the mother married a lot of times. And I think she was a belly dancer. And she used to belly dance in front of him and his friends when they were like 10, 11 years old. It's a little weird, but she was a very nice woman. His father was like a madman. His father was he had a mule ranch in Pennsylvania, and he had like a harem of women. You wonder why he's so messed up. This guy had like a harem of, I think, 4 to 6 women. Let's see. I think are you back now?
Yeah, I hope so.
What I did was I was filling them in, and you'll fill in the blanks. I said how you had that amazing growth spurt because I never met anybody that you're 6'2", and you're a big bone guy.
What's weird? I was voted the shortest in my high school, and to humiliate me, I was 5'1" in high school. They posed me next to Eric Farber, who was about 6'8", but he had a fro that put him at about 7'1", and they put us next to each other. And they had me look up at him just, for the yearbook, just to humiliate me more. And then Paul DeBlazy won funniest. And what's funny is, jump cut 2 years later, he comes to the Improv in West Hollywood. He's now a teacher in the LA school district. And I said, hey, there's Paul DeBlazy. He's voted funniest. I go, who's the funniest now? So I was able to grow and grow as a comedian. But thank God that I had this, tough time. I used to just walk around backwards. Go ahead, get the wedgie over with. They would just wedgie my underwear. They put me on a locker. Look, it's my art project, wind chimes. Bang your legs together. So it's thanks to those difficulties, my dad leaving when I was born, became a cult leader running mule rides.
I was talking about that. Let's just go back in the order. I said your mom used to belly dance. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, she went through a phase. She was a single mom. All my friends wanted her, by the way. Did I ever tell you that? She's
very beautiful. I met your mother. I've been dating her for a couple of weeks.
But all my friends wanted her. One time we recorded, we were smoking pot, and the entire recording, you can hear us. We're doing trying to do comedy bits. Don Dolan's in the background going, shoot, where's your old lady at? Where's your old lady at? Where's your old? And then she buys us a keg for my friends wanted her. And she buys us a keg for my graduation, and she became months before Scheherazade, the belly dancer. And then I hear these words, which I will never forget. They ring in my ears. Craig, upstairs, I hear, I have a treat for you and your friends. And then ching, 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 ching with the finger symbols, veils, a navel jewel with doing belly rolls. And my friends are under the veils, and she's doing this belly dance. And she's doing the back bends and everything. She's fully committed to Scheherazade, and my friends are throwing quarters at her. And I was that moment behind the couch, ducking behind the couch. I just went, I am not going to be an accountant or a lawyer. I am going to be a comedian. So that was one of those seminal moments. I've never even told you the stories about my dad. Now that's something you don't know.
I expect that your father. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I told them while we were off air. I said your father had a mule ranch and like a harem of women. Don't know how you got your habits from, but go ahead. Tell us about that.
He used to call himself the king of the Poconos. He goes, if you get over this comedy shit, you can be part of my empire. I'm going to be Prince of the Poconos. And he had like 14 women. Richard Jenny, me, him, and Glenn Farrington. One time we were touring the Poconos doing colleges. I'll never forget this. And we walk in, and he would choose which one would sleep in the king's quarters with him that night. They'd roll up their sleeping bag, and they would go into the room. There's goats and stuff. And me and Jenny and Farrington were going to sleep in the living room with the goats and all the rest of the women. And then I said, Rich, be quiet. You're going to wake my dad up. He goes, shoo, fuck your old man. And the muley rode in on. But the images I have of him, he would come every few years to our house, and he would bribe my mother, hey, Barbara, if you want your child support check. And he was an entrepreneur, which is a French word for scam artist. And he had this new business. He goes, hey, invite your big-breasted friends over. I'm selling bras. It was like bras meets Amway, like a pyramid scheme for bras. So I hadn't seen him in years. I look out in the living room, and there he is smoking a pipe. My father with all my Aunt Barbara, Aunt Fran, all the single mothers, Aunt Dottie, in bras, and him smoking a pipe going, turn around, Dottie. Hey, show how a Lipson separates. This is a 3-class model for full-figured women. Don't be shy. It's just you women and me. And I'm just looking at him going, this guy's a genius. It's unbelievable. But no pun intended, that business went bust. He was in one business after another, and he would involve me trying a little bit of bonding. And, I just had this thing where I wanted to be a man. He would shake my hands. He'd go, let me see your hands. He'd go, hey, Barbara, look at these baby hands. He needs man hands. Because that was a man, a worker. He needs to be a good worker. So before I'd see him, if I knew he was coming, I would take my mom's emery board and sand my hands to down the blood. So he would shake my hand and go, hey, he's raising with some man hands. And that was my life, was trying to be bonded with this guy that had no interest in bonding whatsoever. He just wanted women.
All right. So you come from a normal all-American background.
Yeah. Real normal. My grandmother smoked and grew reefer in the backyard, and that was awesome. That was my first. She would come up to me, come on, have a toke with your nana. Don't back off. You're 12, you pussy. Come on. So this was the life. This was the life that I had to laugh at.
Yes.
Or cry. I had some very difficult times. I was kidnapped by a serial pedophile when I was 13. And my dad had all these businesses. He had one where he converted cesspools to sewers. I spent one summer underneath with he saw off a shovel, and I'm like a gopher underneath these homes trying to dig a tunnel. I'm like Charles Bronson in The Great Escape. I'm Shawshank Redemption covered in shit. And literally a shit job. And that's what I spent my summer trying to bond with my dad. And he'd be there. I pop up, and he'd be there on a lawn chair waiting for me to make this connection from the sewer to the cesspool and to build the tunnel. And that was my summer of bonding with my dad.
Oh, boy. Well, like father, like son, he really picked up all that. So, all right, you become a comedian. And you were based out of what? The Jersey gigs and Philadelphia? I don't think you went to New York, right?
Jersey, Philly, and Delaware. And then I did make the move to New York, but I made the mistake I didn't realize New York was what it was. Very intimidating. But I would, in Philadelphia, take a commuter train. You're in Philadelphia in 20, 25 minutes. So I got a place in the suburbs in Long Island, and I had no idea. This wasn't a little commute. You had to pay like $19 a trip.
Yes.
You had to have a car. You had to have a car. To drive to gigs. So I started though with. I actually replaced Eddie Murphy in a improv group with Rosie O'Donnell. That's how we met when we were 19 years old. And so I did make the move to New York, but I wouldn't make the move to real New York. I tried for a minute, and to get a place there. I remember interviewing for places, and
were you working for Richie Minervini on the island at that
time?
Yeah,
that's where I started with Bob Nelson, Dave Hawthorne, Vinnie Mark, and
so were you
in the Laughter Company together.
All right, hold on. Were you killing then, or that's where you started to kill, right? Because just stop for 1 second. I've worked with Craig. We just worked, in fact, 5 weeks ago. And as much as I can't stand him, I do recognize he is a great, great comedian. And I chart Craig. Again, I don't want to get too technical. Most people listening are normal people. But Craig reaches levels of 10 jokes per minute where he gets screams, even beginnings of rounds of applause, and cackles at least 10 times.
No, the cackles are from you. The cackles are from you in the audience. Like saying to I'll tell a joke and everyone's laughing, and then you hear you above the crowd. That fake laugh.
Look, I'm just trying to be sincere. Technically, I'm just trying to tell them how great of a comic you are. So you wind up in Los Angeles, and you take the town.
As a matter of fact, I moved out with John Mulrooney and Richard Jeni, and we felt like we were gunslingers because we knew how to work bars. And all over New Jersey and Long Island and New York, we worked everywhere, road gigs, and we knew all the bars and how to deal with hecklers. So we came out like gunslingers when we moved to Los Angeles because we all thought you were soft, and we did pretty well right away. As a matter of fact, you knew about Mulrooney, how
Mulrooney came out. John Mulrooney, he came out. He replaced Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
On the Late Show. She had it for about 6 months.
And then you called me up and said, "Hey, babe, I don't have to kiss your ass anymore. I got a new best buddy, John Mulrooney, because I'm so far up his ass, I can see his colon." And so this is what you called me to announce you're breaking up with me as your star that you were going to kiss the ass of.
That's
so you
right.
broke up with me to go for Mulrooney, who you had told me months before, who is this guy Mulrooney? He's got a 6th grade education, and they're coming all over him. He puts a glass in his mouth, and Bud Friedman from the Improv comes all over him. He gets to sit at the table. Who is this guy? He's Jethro Bodine from Brooklyn. He has no education, and I can't believe. But I have no idea. But I'm still kissing your ass because he hasn't had it. But as soon as he got a series, my new buddy Mulrooney, babe, he loves me.
So yeah, and of course Richard Jeni, the great Richard Jeni, who also won American Comedy Award Comic of the Year.
He was, to me, one of the best comedians that ever graced the stage. And by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but I used to book rooms in outside of Philadelphia for years. I was a booker of these one-nighters. Yeah. And Richard Jeni was brought down by Mulrooney, who was already on the rise and really killing it all the time by putting a glass in his mouth. Anyway, he goes, "I have this guy who's really funny, Richard Jeni," and they stay with me in my house. Yeah. And I put Jeni on stage, and it was a really hot room. Like big celebrities were playing it. At the time, it was a one-nighter. People come down from New York for $150, big headliners, Bill Maher and Eddie Murphy and Rich Hall. I mean, all these are great comics. So he goes on stage, and before he goes up, he taped dollar bills all over his body for one joke. He walks up and he goes, "I'm made of money." And that was it. And he bombed so bad. And I said, "Mulrooney, this guy's got no chance." And boy, I was no Nostradamus on that one because he really was. He was a brilliant comic, but not that night.
Jackie Mason once told me that I asked him, "Is there anyone of my generation that he liked?" And he said, Richard Jeni. He said, "Pound for pound is as good of a writer as him and a performer." So that's when Jackie Mason is giving you that kind of compliment, that it means a great deal. Now you came out to LA and you wound up, I don't know the time span, but you wound up touring with Kenny Loggins. Tell us what Kenny. The magic. Forget about my story. You can tell that story.
It was soon that I got out there, and a lot of people might not know who Kenny Loggins is, but
come on, everybody knows Kenny Loggins and Messina. Everybody.
No, but a lot of people don't. That's because you're ancient, Bruce. A lot of people don't know who Kenny Loggins is, but he became like the big '80s soundtrack guy. He did, Footloose. He did "I'm All Right" from Caddyshack, Danger Zone from Top Gun. But I had not familiar. But someone gave me a tour, and the opening night was at Caesars in Tahoe, and they said, if you do well, you will be able to tour with them. I was so nervous, and the guy, I'll never forget it. The stage manager, points his flashlight at a clock, and he goes, 20 minutes, you go 1 minute over, you're fired, because these people, we want to get them gambling, because every minute you go over costs us $100,000. He had some stat like that. Okay. And I'm in the middle of my act, and all of a sudden, and I'm doing well, and then someone hands me a note. I'll never forget this. I was so nervous. Like, what's this? I thought it was to get the hell off the stage, but it said, just wanted to know you're funny, but your zipper's been down the entire performance. I looked down, and my shirt was poking out, and I said, thank you. And the show went well. We toured together, and it culminated in, I sing, and it's always been a dream for me to sing. But I would
bring you on stage, and you would sing. You would come back and sing with him later.
Well, what happened was I'd sing a little bit in my act, and I never, I always wanted to be a singer, but in college, I got drunk and wet my pants when I had the lead in a play. It was for Something's Coming, West Side Story, and I'm going, could be, who knows? I was freaking out, and this big spot appears on my beige pants, and people were howling, laughing at not a comedy, and I full on wet my pants, and I never sang since. So he says, hey, Craig, I'm freaking out. We're on Broadway. It says Kenny Loggins, Craig Shoemaker, Broadway. I mean, it's a dream for me.
Right.
And he says, I'm freaking out. Trish is sick. Can you sing bass? I said, yeah, I can sing bass. I was so nervous. Footloose. It's like Mickey Mouse doing Footloose. So I'm trying to learn this bass line over dinner, which is different than, it's not like you're just singing along with the song like it's karaoke. You have to have it down. And I was like, geez, this is not easy. So I open up the show, and my idiot friends from Philadelphia, they decide to come up on the Amtrak train. And because they went on the train, they didn't have to worry about, they got obliterated, cocaine, pot, drunk. I looked down the aisle, Neil Simon Theater. Here I am on stage. They're late. Excuse me. Tubs of beer going, yo, shoo! Tell me about the time you pissed your pants on stage. They're heckling me. It was so horrible. I'm going, and I'm trying to go, guys, cut it out. They're going, Steiny's funnier than he is. Matter of fact, Steiny's are the first tits he ever felt. Show your tits, Steiny. It's in the middle of a Broadway show. So it's a nightmare. And I go, oh my God. And they're in the front row. They're, excuse me. They take their seats. So then they're heckling. I'm going, guys, stop it. And finally they shut up, and then they passed out. Like literally all of them passed out.
Sure. Yeah.
They just like this. So now I come out for the acoustic set with Kenny Loggins. I'm doing my bass line. So I'm getting the notes. All of a sudden, one of them wakes up and goes, yo, there's Shoe singing with Kenny Loggins. Do two corner, fucker. So, yeah. That was my Broadway debut. He was sick the whole week, though, so I got to sing on Broadway for a whole week. It was like a dream. And then I got you a job to replace me.
Yes.
And you called me up. I'll never forget, from a payphone. There's a days.
Wait, stop. Just stop 1 second. Hold on before you go. I was good at this time, but I was only good for certain audiences. Kenny Loggins' audience is all American, USA, great people. But my act wasn't like that. My act is what it is. It's all it's very ethnic.
And it's still the same. 4 years later, it's still the same.
I know
So anyway.
Well, anyway, I just want to set it up. So he does this because
by the way, I don't know how to do setups, do I, Bruce?
No, you know nothing. But I just want to not set you up. I want to set the stage. So I'm not really that good for America, a good old, regular American blue collar crowd.
Yes, you are. You told yourself that, but go ahead.
Whatever. So he gets me this gig, and I'm in Lake Tahoe. Now you can take it from there.
And I put my name to this guy because, by the way, folks, now I'm going to be sincere as he's not. I find when people ask me my favorite comedian, now all these years, a lot of articles, if you Google it, I say Bruce Smirnoff. I know that sounds weird because most of you are going, I don't get it. Anyway, so
I don't either.
So he's always been one of my favorites, favorite characters. Actually, a favorite of a lot of comics. Really, dig his cadence and his, his whole character that he is, and it's very consistent, very funny. So I said,
no career in 2 cats. What are you talking about? Go ahead, continue.
So I said, hey, my friend Bruce, and I put my name behind it, and he checks in with me. He's calling me from the payphone. Hey, Craig, and let me tell you something. I am absolutely killing. I understand why you like this gig so much. This is fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anyway, let me tell you something. The people, they just can't get enough of me. I can't. Hey, thank you. Oh, yes, my name is Bruce. Anyway, I have to tell you that I get along fabulously. They almost gave me a standing ovation. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Oh, yeah, I'll give you my number later, and you can contact my agent. And I said to him, Bruce, I don't think there's one person there saying anything to you. He goes, you're right. I made it all up. There's nobody here. I stink. They booed me off the stage. They cut me. The first day they cut me. They said, you're going to have to trim it down to 15. And then it ended up the last day. I walked out and said, I'm Bruce. Here's Kenny.
That's right. The guy says, do 10. That was the second night. The third night, go out and say hello and get off. And that, it's so embarrassing. But, but I didn't ruin the show. Thank God. They love Kenny Loggins. And amazing. I think he did like 2 hours, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. He did like 2 hours. He's amazing. He just played my parking lot here. I have these offices now, and we produce television and film. And he and REO Speedwagon played the parking lot. And here's a story you don't know. You know who REO Speedwagon is?
Yeah, that famous song. Give a little bit of my love for you, right?
And also, heard it through a friend who.
Oh yeah, big song.
They've got a lot of songs, a lot of hits. So Kenny's on stage jamming. The place went nuts, and they've got their cell phones out. I have videos of it. He's doing Footloose in my parking lot. It was crazy. And I thought he was going to go up. He heard about my jams. I do a lot of jams. I know a lot of musicians. And I said, hey, Kevin, come on up here, REO Speedwagon. Kevin tells a story. He goes, Kenny, I've always wanted to meet you and tell you this story. We were the hottest band in the 80s, multi-platinum albums. We got all the soundtracks, and they sent us this soundtrack with a script. And he says, it's very light on dialogue, a lot of action. And I just didn't get it. Had this star that I'd never heard of before named Tom Cruise. And he goes, it was a little movie called Top Gun. And he goes, I got the script. And then Kenny turns to him and goes, so you passed? And he goes, I passed. And then Kenny goes, thank you for passing. And he made Kenny millions of dollars from passing on that. And Kenny was only offered the volleyball scene. And Kenny ended up doing Danger Zone. And they did Danger Zone together for the first time in my parking lot. It was unbelievable. Brought the house down. It was really cool.
All right. I want to tell the audience about, again, you're probably very young people. There was a famous club in Hollywood called the Friars Club, and all these old-time show business people were there. And I used to sit and have lunch with a very famous person who many of you don't remember. His name was Milton Berle. He's basically responsible for everyone owning a television set. Look it up on Wikipedia. Let's move on. So Milton, I used to talk because Milton had a big member of his body. He had a large penis, okay? And he would like to talk about it, and he would talk about all the women and all his conquests. And he was telling me that under him, he was mentioning 3 people. He said Forrest Tucker, guy from F Troop. Again, Google it, you'll see. And then he told me Jack Benny, surprisingly, very famous comedian, Google him. He said he was a big woman chaser, which was unbelievable. But the weirdest one of them all,
Don Knotts.
Yeah, you're ruining the punchline. You go, biggest ass man in Hollywood, Don Knotts. And I couldn't believe it. But then when Don was like on his deathbed, he was with his wife, and it was like this blonde, big boobed woman, so he kind of verified it. But that's one of your signature.
Well, I'll tell you a story about that. I had heard he had a big schlong. And I don't know about you, Bruce, but I ran this survey by some straight dudes. So you hear about a guy's big schlong, and if you have an opportunity to check, are you going to be a pecker checker or not? Now, what I want you to answer that question first. Would you look if you had? Okay. So So I meet him backstage. It was the first time I met him. It's Comic Relief 1997. And that was really a good launching pad for me. I did really well. And he was on that night because he was on the Steve Allen show. They had a retrospective with he and Tom Poston and Bill Dana, Steve Allen. And he was backstage. And a lot of people say this story to me. He had to look like this. He had bad eyes. And he was older. And I'm on stage live, like, a few hundred yards away on Universal stage. He's backstage in his big tent looking in the monitor, me doing him as Barney Fife going, I'm going, all right, Andy, you got to nip it in the bud, Andy. Okay, you got to back up. I got a bullet. Yeah, all that. And he turns to Steve Allen. He goes, he's older. He goes, he does me pretty good, doesn't he, Steve? So they posed us next to each other. I went right into like stardom because they put me on a real press conference. And then they bring him out. And it was the first time I'd ever saw him live. He was my idol growing up. He was Mr. Limpet and Mr. Reluctant Astronaut. I mean, as a little boy, I wanted to be him. I related to him. I was a little kid. And they put him next to me. And I did they go, do Barney, both of you. And I go, all right,
do a little Barney.
Here at The Rock, there are 2 rules. Number 1, obey all rules. So I'm doing that. And he's old, and he goes, I can't do that anymore. You do me better than me. So that's how I met him. It was really cool. Wow. So I ended up looping him in the movie Pleasantville. If you watch the movie Pleasantville, it's actually my voice for most of the movie because he was sick. So I had to imitate him as an old guy. He circles an apple on the telestrator. It's actually my voice going, boom, what do you call that right there, bud? They're forbidden fruit here in Pleasantville. I'm your TV repairman. Anyway, so I had to do that. So I'm next to him. Now I have a picture of it here. I should show it to you. I have a picture of it.
We'll get it.
Jackson. So my son's here. I have a picture of me that night, which was truly a dream come true. He's the nicest man. And we're sitting on a couch together, just talking about life and his career and him and me. He was engaging with me and telling me how talented I am. And the entire time he's talking, he's right here on the couch next to me. I kept trying to look to see if I could confirm the schlong. So he's all serious going, I'm from West Virginia. I was a ventriloquist at one time. And I'm just going, are those pleats? So, hey, Jackson, he's got headphones on. If you start talking, I can go get it if you want me to go.
Okay. I mean,
I'll be back in 1 second. I'll be back in 1 second.
While Craig is going, one of his biggest characters when he comes back, we'll stick with the Don Knotts, but he's going to do Love Master. Now, Love Master is basically a white guy, Craig, doing his impression of all those 60s and 70s black voices that you would hear in the Temptations and the OJs, and I remember the night
it's not a black guy. I'm going to tell you the secret of who it is right now that you've never asked me because you have all these assumptions. I'm going to tell you who it is.
Okay.
And you'll recognize the voice when I tell you. It is Lou Rawls.
Black guy.
Right? And Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Here's the Love Master. I'll do Love Master into Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, baby. Hey, that's right, ladies. I'll have you begging like PBS on a pledge drive, baby. All right, we're going to search every whorehouse, hen house. We're looking for Dr. Richard Kimble. You see? It's from the same place. So it's Tommy Lee Jones. That's my little secret to you.
Okay. All right. Well,
and it is between you and me, and maybe the engineer might still be here. And that's the only audience we have.
What it's still he's enjoying it and I'm enjoying it. It's been your signature. Oh, look, that's you with Don Knotts. Wow. You still look good, Craig.
My God, this is almost 30 years ago. Jesus.
So the thing about the Love Master is that it's basically a guy bragging about his schlong.
Do you know where it comes from? You don't know this either. Because you just wrap it up with, he talks about his cock for an hour. And that's all it is to you, the shallow man. There's something.
The audience stands around the block to see him. He comes to you go to Atlanta 3 times a year, and people come at least one time a year to see Craig Shoemaker.
There's something behind it, though. There's a story behind it, and you don't know the story.
Tell me.
Because you have no attention span. But so anyway, I was a geek growing up, like you were. I was a fat kid. My picture that was on the.
I was so fat, my picture used to fall off the wall.
I was about to do that. I was getting there. So anyway, I was little and skinny, and all the girls would use the F word with me. Friend. I was always the friend. You know how girls pee together, the posse pee? They took me with them. That's how bad it was. That's what a geek I was. Little high-voiced kid, no pubic hair. I look like I'm downstairs. I look like a panel on a wall switch. So and other guys that they liked were all badasses, hairy guys with sideburns. You know, guys they already had hair on their back. I couldn't have hair on my balls. I hated life. I hated it. And they were always the geek. I was the friend fixing them up. I'll fix you up. Yeah, sure, no problem. And in the meantime, it was always a bad guy. And that's where the Love Master goes.
Oh, give the geek a chance, baby. Yeah, I'm so big. I make flesh-eating bacteria gag, baby. Oh, yeah, social distance, 6 feet. That's just the tip, baby.
So there it is. There's the reason the Love Master, he's a Lothario character that channels through me. He literally channels through. And I've had women in my past that only want to be with the Love Master. I swear to God, it's just like Willie Tyler Lester used to tell me. He's a ventriloquist. He used to say the women only wanted to be with the doll, but the doll had more soul. We did a play together. Remember Holly's play we did?
Well, I was going to get to that.
They would give him 2 lines. They would give him 2 lines, one for the puppet and one for him. And he couldn't sing himself. He would go like this. He would go, all I want to be somebody else. And then the puppet would go, all I want to be is somebody else. I'm going, where's the other guy for the first line? It was, we would howl, laugh at Eddie, and he couldn't pronounce his P's because you can't do P's when you're a ventriloquist because you got to pee like this. So they fucked him up. They would give him all these lines that had P's in it. Like one of his lines was, it was supposed to be Exposure Pal. That's the name of the game. He'd go, Exposure Pal, just the name of the game. Exposure Pal.
Craig and I were picked to be in this play. I don't know. I don't want to tell the story because we can't tell. How do we tell this story without hurting people's feelings? I guess we don't tell the story.
like you care about hurting people's feelings.
The
guy that called. I'm one of his best friends. He would call me up and go, "You stink! You stink! I don't get it." And I'm telling you why I'm getting to know you because I'm going to get the cast-offs.
Oh.
So anyway, yes, you don't care who you hurt. But I don't know what stories we can tell except for
I know. Let's leave it alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone
because we're almost finished. Okay. We've cut. I do want to talk about your family because I have not met Mika. Mika is your wife.
Yeah.
And I was at you've been married a couple of times. I was at.
All right. Yeah.
Anyway, so you have 2 beautiful.
You were at the fun wedding with AC/DC. Remember?
Yeah.
AC/DC.
He's the guy that's sick now, right?
Well, ears, or he went off tour, but yeah.
Yeah. He's like a really famous guy. That guy. What's his name?
Brian Johnson. Yeah. He actually did the music for a movie that I produced over here. It's called Totally Baked. It's about marijuana. It's got Should the Weed Be Freed? And he did the music for it. As a matter of fact, my other son, who was 10 at the time, and he's called Uncle Brian to my son. And I took him to a concert. And I don't know if you've ever been to an AC/DC concert. It is so ridiculously loud. And I'll never forget, Brian debuted the songs that he wrote for my movie that I wrote and produced and star in. And he gets my son's with me, and hey, let's go see Uncle Brian. In the meantime, he's 10 years old. Imagine being my son. It's like I exposed him to so much. Backstage they're signing breasts, and that's going in the divorce court.
Oh,
anyway,
the police. Yeah.
I'll never forget. He's up there doing this song. Hey, who found the law? And my son is writhing in pain on the ground, and he literally said these words: Tell Uncle Brian to turn it down. My lungs hurt. Yeah, this poor kid. And
so I was at one of your weddings, and now you're married to a lovely woman who was raised in Hawaii or Japan. I don't know.
She's half Japanese, and I went over there to ask for her hand in marriage, and her dad was getting married at the time, and is really elegant, looking over Hiroshima with a quartet, and I had to take a dump. And, I like to go at home. I mean, I would literally drive home in high school, or I do not like to go anywhere.
All that way. Everyone's that way.
Right. Yeah. But I'm far away. There's nothing, but all there is a Japanese toilet. And I sat on it, and, I'm trying to impress his father. I'm about to ask for her hand in marriage. It was a toilet that had only Japanese writing on it. And it was a fancy toilet. So I pressed the button, and the shooting water went right up into me. I'm going, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And I can't move because I get my suit wet. So then I press another button. This one does the whole tushy. This one, so it's a car wash. I'm in a car wash, and then the water's filling up with all my business is filling up. And I'm going, what do I do? And I press another button. It's an emergency button. You hear, I'm going, oh my God, oh my God. You hear the speakers going off, and I'm going, oh, this is horrible. I walk outside. And meantime, they're bowing to me. I'm going, no. And I'm trying, what's the universal sign for don't go in there? I'm bowing back at them going, no, bad news. I'm trying to, miming and nose. And they're going, they're bowing, being respectful. I'm going, you have to be respectful. And I don't know how to tell them. I don't know how to flush. I couldn't flush the toilet. So I took the door like a bullfighter. I thought there was a laser, and I kept going this back and forth. And they're looking at me going, oh, they thought I was this crazy guy from America. But she moved here, when she was 18, and she's half Japanese, and we have a great relationship. She's very different to me. She's a hippie. She actually says to me these words. She goes, it's spiritual to fart. I go, well, you just met the Dalai Lama, honey. Get her the covers. I'll give you a Dutch oven. You'll be praying all right. And we did home birth, Uncle Brucey. We did a home.
That's what I wanted to hear, yeah.
As a matter of fact, my son's here, who was born in a pool that I blew up. I blew it up. I literally had to blow it up and by the way, it's now our kiddie pool. You know how cheap I am. It's not a one-stop shop for this thing. So, it's not like I didn't clean it out. But so I could not believe the pain that she was in because she wanted natural childbirth. I was horrible. And you take all these classes. Oh, breathe. Oh, no. Those go out the window. I'm going, okay, your head is an empty eggshell. Breathe. She gritting her teeth going, get away from me. I hate you. Get away. I'll go, it's okay. And I literally had to pull my child out of her. It was an emergency. We flooded the whole place, and I pulled them out. And it was the most frightening thing. And then she goes, let's do it again. So we have another child who was also born in the water from my Earth girl. And and as a matter of fact, we had a doula or a midwife. We had a midwife, and she was 21 hours in labor. It's a lot of labor. And she says, I said, what can we do? She goes, do to your wife what you did to get the baby in there to get the baby out. I go, you want me to get her drunk? She goes, no. Have sex with your wife. That'll get the baby. I go, sex now? I mean, the kid's right there. I don't want my first threesome to be with my son. So I hope he's not hearing this. So anyway, the answer is I did do it. And,
wow. All right, listen. We did 50 minutes tonight.
Oh, geez. I always
that's like if people paid to come into a club to watch you, they got their 50-minute show. Is there anything you can plug coming up in the next couple of months? And with all this COVID, you and I managed to get a live show in at the Improv. Are you coming back down here to the Improv?
No, not right now. I'm doing Zoom shows. I got a lot of TV shows coming up, but just follow me. Knowing your fans, they're probably on Friendster.
They're all sleeping, my friend. It's 9:00. They've been in bed for 2 hours.
So official Craig Shoemaker on Instagram. Listen, I have a podcast. Sincerely, I love this podcast. It's called Dr. Craig Shoemaker. Can I help you? And I love helping people. You know that. I've helped a lot of comedians through the years. People like Judd Apatow used to open for me. Dave Chappelle opened for me when he was 14. Whitney Cummings toured with me. And I love mentoring and helping people. But it's way beyond comedy. It's helping people, especially at this time, managing through life. You know, I've had a difficult life, but I also have a wonderful life, and I like to share it with people. So it's called Can I Help You? And it's available on all of the podcasts, you know, Spotify, Apple, and all of that.
Well,
and
Dr. Shoemaker, can I help you? Or Craig Shoemaker?
Dr. Craig Shoemaker, can I help you? And you know,
Okay.
I use all that I've learned. I have my doctorate, and I let people know, whatever position you're in, let me assist you out by sharing some of my experiences and wisdom, and gain wisdom and laughter healing. Obviously, I've got the Laughter Heals Foundation. It's a nonprofit. If you want to go, laughterheals.org. But yeah, follow me at craigshoemaker.com. You'll know where all my Twitters and official Craig Shoemaker on Instagram. Let's stay in touch, because I truly believe we'll build our immune system through laughter and joy. And I really believe that. And when I say that on stage, you hear Bruce in the audience going, ah! I said the sincere thing about my best friend and brain cancer. We helped him live 15 years past his 3 months prognosis. Everybody's, oh, Bruce is out there. Ah! Ah! Oh, horrible. He's a horrible human being.
The
But
worst.
I love you, Bruce.
I love you, Craig, but I want to thank you for being our guest today. And for those of you who are watching for the first time, this show is produced by the Don Casino Agency in Hollywood, Florida, on the other side of it.
Are they ever going to book me? I've never been booked once.
I told Wendy, yes, we are going to book you. We are going to book you. We would be so happy to book you. And we are going to start doing our own viral show. So if you go to Don Casino on Facebook, like us, friend us, and I think we start next week with some live virtual, I don't even know what do they call them? Virtual, is that what they call? Whatever it is, you're going to see live entertainment through the Don Casino Agency. And again, our guest this week for 53 minutes, the great Craig Shoemaker. Thank you, Craig. And thank you all for watching, and have a great week.
My burger's cold. This wasn't even worth it.
Bye, everybody.